How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado. And listen, I get it. You're thinking about making the move to Denver? Well, I'm here to give you the 5 biggest mistakes people make when they do just that. Let's get it. And listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon popping up on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And listen, as much as I love getting out here, being a little creative on camera and enjoying some of the sunshine, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and teamed with some of Denver's most talented real estate agents. So the number and email popping up on your screen, I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails, there when and if you need me. Now that we have that fun-filled stuff out of the way, let's get to what we're really here for, and that is what are the 5 biggest mistakes people make when they move to Denver. All right, mistake number 1 that I get feedback from clients, friends, people who have moved here, and I do not believe this is a Denver-specific mistake, this is a moving mistake, and that is moving based on a vacation. So when you go on a trip somewhere, you're there for 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, maybe a couple weeks, you have no responsibility. Odds are you have gone during a time of year that is ideal for the type of travel you're doing. You're coming to Colorado during the summer because you want to do a bunch of hiking. Maybe you come out in the winter because you want to ski. So you get a glimpse of a place with no responsibility, pure leisure, pure enjoyment. And I don't care if, with all due respect to New Jersey, you're in Newark. It's going to seem better if you're on vacation. So a lot of times we have people who come out here, they really enjoy a weekend skiing. They enjoy coming out here, doing a bunch of hikes. Maybe they're going to the museum, going to some restaurants downtown. They go to a Rockies game. They fall in love with Denver. They move here and then they realize, oh, maybe they weren't ready for the winter. Maybe they weren't big mountain people. Maybe they didn't really vibe with the city itself, but they made that decision based on a vacation and now they're here. That is our biggest mistake that I get feedback on. All right, so I get it. You're probably saying, well, Jimmy, how do I decide to move to a place if I haven't been there? And if I'm going there, chances are I'm on vacation. Well, mistake number 2 is not doing research. And that includes thinking about who you are, what you like, what type of situation you're in. Are you moving here by yourself? Are you moving here with a partner? Are you moving here with a family? What are you doing as far as work? Are you moving here because of a job? Are you going to find employment here? Have you done that before you moved? Have you thought about the seasons? Colorado is a beautiful sunny place in the summer. In the winter, we have our snowstorms. We have our rainy season, which is pretty brief. Have you thought about areas of town that you're going to want to live in? And this is a challenging aspect. I don't expect anyone living in another state to know this up front. But are you really considering the things you like, your living situation, and what parts of Denver might fit that best? I think a key component of that, with feedback I get, is what type of lifestyle do you have? Here's a great example. Let's say that you're moving here and you know that you enjoy hiking, skiing, getting into the mountains, camping. You know that's gonna be a big aspect. Well, then chances are living on the east side of town, living in areas like Aurora, Central Park, east of Denver, that's gonna add 30 to 45 minutes to your drive to the mountains. Might not be a big deal, but the feedback I get from clients is it really impacts their ability to enjoy the mountains, enjoy that skiing, camping, hiking as much as they want to. Now, at the same time, I've got people who move here who are city people, and that's kind of how I was when I moved here. I wasn't big into the outdoors. And so you've got city people who maybe move to a town like Golden, which is great. It's a mountain-ish town. It's pretty close to Denver, but it's from parts of Golden, a 25, 30-minute drive downtown might not be the most convenient for someone who wants to deal with arts and crafts and get to the museums and things of that nature. Might not be their vibe. So it really is that big mistake of doing your research and considering not just what Denver has, but what is your style? What do you enjoy? What does, if you're moving here with other people, what do they enjoy? Schools, activities, work situations. Are you going to be having working remote, or are you going to have a 45-minute, hour-long drive to where you work? Those are all things that we want to consider and we want to talk through prior to your move. Mistake number 3, underestimating the cost of living in Denver. Now, depending on where you're moving from, you might be coming to Denver knowing that the cost of living and affordability as far as housing is going to be lower than what you have become accustomed to, or you might be moving from somewhere where it is a large step up. I also think this is going to depend on your employment situation. Some of you are going to be moving here for a job. Some of you are going to be moving here because your job is remote. Some of you are going to be moving here because the plan is to find a job either just before you move or once you get here. But what I find is that people get here a lot of times when they don't have that employment established, and they underestimate how much it's going to cost for housing. They underestimate how much it's going to cost to just kind of live the lifestyle they enjoy at whatever level. Obviously, some people are more extravagant and more simplistic than others, but they don't do their due diligence there. They get to Colorado and it frustrates and confounds them early on. A big piece of this is, do you have some type of nest egg? Do you have some type of backup fund in case you get here, things don't work exactly as you want? And folks, I'm going to tell you this, regardless of where you move, having your finances established and knowing that you have a bit of a safety net prior to a move is going to make that experience in general better, whether you're coming to Denver or any other place in the world. Mistake number 4, and this is one that I hear more and more depending on the company, and that is hiring bad movers, bad contractors, bad painters, bad electricians, plumbers. Again, using some of your resources. So as you move to a new town, obviously, if you are hiring movers, and some of you are going to be, taking care of this on your own. You and your family, you're going to load up your U-Haul, you're going to make the drive out to Denver, all good. For those of you hiring movers, 1, make sure you're doing your due diligence. Make sure you're not just checking reviews, but you're asking around as much as you can. You're looking at the Better Business Bureau. I hear, we always talk about, you don't hear about all the good stories, you hear about the bad ones. And people who have bad moving company experiences when they get into a new town, it is a horrible thing to deal with. I don't want any of you to have to deal with it. As far as once you get into town, you might be in a situation, maybe you're buying a place, that place needs some paint. Maybe you need a contractor. Again, maybe you need a plumber. You need some people to assist. Very crucial, use some of those resources. I'm always there if you need me with connections that I have. But that is one of those big stabilizing factors for people moving to a new town, knowing that you have resources for any type of work that you need in your living situation. Movers being the first, the most prominent. And again, if you need any assistance in that regard, feel free to give me a call, as I've got some great reliable sources for that. And number 5, and guys, I genuinely think that this is one that can trip any of us up, and it's happened to me in my past. And that is giving your move enough time to feel a little stable and a little confidence in the decision that you have made. Now, this is going to be different depending on your circumstance. If you are moving out here because you know a lot of people ahead of time and you've got a sphere to kind of walk into, that's going to help. If you're moving here with a partner, a family, someone that you can talk to on a consistent basis, that's going to make a huge difference. If you're moving to Denver, and I did this myself many years ago, I grew up in Denver, but I left for 12 years and I came back. Most of the friendships that I had as a child weren't here anymore. So coming back to Denver, I was kind of alone in the beginning. And it's an overwhelming feeling, and it's lonely in the beginning. Giving it time, allowing yourself to make connections. Denver's a very open city. There's a lot of people out and about hoping to meet new people, build new spheres, build new groups. Giving it time and allowing yourself to get a feel for Denver, gain some confidence in obviously the work you're doing, the people you're around, the environment. It gets better. But I think the biggest thing when I hear from clients and some of my friends in Sphere that move here is that anxiety that comes early on when you move to a new town. So that biggest last mistake is not giving it enough time to feel a little more comfortable. So listen, that was the 5 biggest mistakes that you can make moving to Denver, Colorado. If you want to hear 6, 7, 8, you want to hear some funny horror stories, I got you. That number and email popping up below. I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails. There when and if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everts. That was Moving to Denver, Colorado 2022, the 5 biggest mistakes that people make. Until I see you next time, peace.